This video, released by the U.S. Coast Guard, shows the interception of a narco-submarine. A Marine Patrol aircraft was patrolling near the Pacific coast when they spotted the silhouette of a submarine underwater. They immediately reported it to the U.S. Coast Guard, and within minutes, 2 boats and a helicopter arrived. The video shows the Coast Guard crew approaching the submarine, but perhaps the smugglers inside were unaware. The officers forcibly opened the submarine's latch and arrested the smugglers inside. This narco-submarine contained 3,000 kilograms of cocaine. This cocaine was being transported silently from South America to the USA. This submarine was one of the 200 narco-submarines that authorities have captured from 2006 to 2025. But these were only the ones that were caught. Thousands of submarines illegally deliver drugs to the USA every year, and no one is alerted. How do narco-submarines work? Why are they difficult to catch? And where are they built? Welcome back to Be Back Documentary Videos. Viewers, drug smuggling is an act for which every country has created different institutions in every era to prevent it, and attempts are made to catch drug smugglers using new methods. But despite all these efforts, we see that it has not been 100% stopped in many countries in the USA and Europe. The biggest reason for this is that large drug cartels always try to stay 2 steps ahead of anti-drug forces. From the beginning, South America has been the stronghold of the illegal drug mafia, owing to its unique climate, which is perfect for the cultivation of the coca plant. Currently, the largest cocaine production in the world takes place in Colombia. 90% of the cocaine seized in the USA is said to originate from Colombia. This is followed by Peru and then Bolivia. These 3 South American countries are considered the Golden Triangle or Andean Triangle of the cocaine industry.
99.5% of all the cocaine in the world is produced in these 3 countries. Now, various methods have been used to transport these drugs from South America to Central America and Europe. In the 1960s, when security was less strict, people would carry it in their luggage on normal passenger planes to Central America and Europe. When security increased, the use of large ships began. But because profit margins in smuggling are very high, especially if the product is illegal, the drug mafia started using small Cessna aircraft during the 1980s. These planes would fly from Colombia and land on small Caribbean islands like the Bahamas or on secret airstrips built in the jungles of Central America. This was the era when Pablo Escobar's Medellin cartel controlled 80% of the world's cocaine market. Carlos later and other shrewd partners turned islands like the Bahamas into smuggling hubs where these small planes would land. However, as radar systems improved, law enforcement authorities started catching these small aircraft as well. Then the cartels started using speedboats. These were not ordinary speedboats, but were built with specially modified engines. These boats, loaded with drugs, were raced to the Caribbean islands. By the time the Coast Guard spotted them, these boats would have completed their work and returned. But the USA and its allies increased maritime patrols along the Caribbean and Pacific coasts and installed advanced radar systems. This made it easier to track these modified speedboats as well. By the 1990s, the air and sea routes for large drug loads to the USA were blocked. This pressure led to engineering innovation. At that time, they needed a technology that could deceive radars, escape the notice of marine patrols, and most importantly, could transport as many drugs as possible. The cartels decided to use engineering to build submarines. These submarines were made of fiberglass, which allowed radars to filter out their signature. Where boats had limited capacity, these submarines could transport 5 to 10 tons of drugs. These submarines, called narco-submarines, were so successful that for many years, anti-narcotics police did not know how drugs were being brought into Central America. This trend, which began in 1990s, was exposed only after about 16 years, when the first narco-submarine was caught in 2006. About 160 kilometers off the Pacific coast of Costa Rica, US Coast Guard personnel were on an air patrol. They spotted 3 plastic pipes protruding from the water. This was a 50-foot-long narco-submarine made of wood and fiberglass. The US Coast Guard said they had heard about it but had seen one for the first time. But where do the drug mafia's engineers build these submarines? What facilities do they have inside? How much distance can they travel? And why do smugglers sink such expensive submarines themselves? Let us tell you that a total of 200 submarines have been caught from 2006 until now. But authorities believe that many times more have remained undetected. There are a total of 4 types of narco submarines. The first is the low-profile vessel, also called LPV. This vessel does not fully submerge underwater. Instead, most of its part remains underwater and a small top remains on the surface. It is approximately 14 meters long and its color matches the sea, which also makes it anti-detection. In terms of capacity, it can transport 7.7 tons of cocaine. Authorities say it often travels on the short route from South America to Central America. The second narco submarine is the transatlantic semi-submersible. It is similar to the earlier LPV model but is more modern and quite large, measuring more than 20 meters in length. It has 3 compartments, one for the engine, one for the crew and one for the cargo. It has a total fuel capacity up to 20,000 liters, which allows it to easily travel long sea journeys such as from Brazil to Europe. These submarines do not have GPS. Instead, the smugglers inside change direction with the help of a compass. The third is the snorkel sub. This model resembles a true submarine that can fully submerge underwater. It is 24 meters long and has a fiberglass body. When it is in action, only a snorkel pipe remains above the water surface, which provides air for the diesel engine and oxygen for the crew. It has ballast tanks that take it to greater depths if danger is sensed. To date, no such submarine has ever been caught in the sea. And the fourth is the most cunning, the electronic submarine. This is the most advanced and modern type of narco submarine. It is 12 meters long with a fiberglass body and no crew inside. It also does not have a diesel engine. Instead, batteries power only 2 electric motors. Being electric, it is extremely quiet and sonar scanners cannot detect it. Its range is only 60 kilometers. Therefore, it is towed by a large ship using a rope. When the coast guards arrive, this rope is unhooked and it goes underwater to hide. Authorities say this submarine has never been caught in action. Only its models have been found in the jungle, which is how information was gathered about it. These submarines have a small washroom for the crew, a sleeping area, and energy bars for food and drink. Now let's find out where these advanced submarines are built. The construction of these submarines mostly takes place in shipyards hidden in the dense jungles of South America. These areas are so remote that reaching them is almost impossible. Due to the dense jungles, these shipyards cannot be seen even with the help of satellites, drones, or helicopters. It is estimated that building one submarine costs up to $1 million. However, this cost is insignificant compared to 10 tons of cocaine, which can be worth up to $400 million. That is why they are made for one-time use only. As soon as the mission is complete, its valve is opened and it is left to sink in the sea, so that neither the submarine is ever found by the coast guards nor can they trace it back to its builders. Even if the crew is inside and they realize the coast guards are approaching, they immediately open the emergency valve and deliberately sink it, escaping themselves so that no evidence is left behind. Before 2008, the law in USA was that if a narco submarine was sinking, the coast guards would only rescue the crew as people who were drowning. And since the submarine was lost thousands of meters below on the ocean floor and all the evidence was destroyed, it was difficult to prosecute them. However, this law was changed after 2008. Still, smugglers sink the submarine in such situations because they know that arguing in court will be easier due to the lack of evidence and the sentence might be reduced. That is why it is the destiny of most narco submarines to sink, whether they make a successful delivery or are caught. There have been very few cases when the coast guards have caught a narco submarine in action. But the question arises, where did the authorities get all the information about narco submarines that you are seeing in this video? In 2022, a key figure in the world of smuggling, Oscar Moreno Ricardo, was arrested, who was nicknamed the King of Narco-Submarines. He was not a smuggler, but his primary job was the construction of these submarines. Later, it was found that Oscar had previously worked transporting cocaine via speedboats, but over time he established himself as a designer and engineer who built the best and stealthiest vessels for the cartels. He built vessels for major criminal groups in Mexico and Colombia. Oscar Moreno Ricardo usually stayed in his secret shipyard in the jungle, but in January 2022, he went to the city of Medellin, Colombia to close a deal and was arrested there. Officials from the Colombian National Police and Army, along with the US Drug Enforcement Agency DEA, were involved in this mission. The arrest of master builders like Oscar is certainly a major victory for law enforcement, but in reality, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Despite every successful operation, experts believe that thousands of tons of cocaine are still reaching Central America and Europe from beneath the ocean surface. While old submarines are sunk into the depths of the sea to destroy evidence at this very moment, some new genius in the dense jungles of Colombia must be working on electric, soundless, and uncrewed drone submarines. The point is that as long as the demand for these drugs exists, the multi-billion-dollar business of the big cartels will continue to take on different forms. What are your thoughts on this? Be sure to let me know in the comment section. I hope you will like and share this back documentary video a lot. See you in the next fantastic video.